We do have Adam Schefter on the line with us from
Yes,
ESPN.
he's actually dropping his dog off right now. So if you hear a dog in the background,
You'll know
Shefty's
why.
dog. But Adam is brought to you by DraftKings. DraftKings is giving away up to $100 million in prizes to all of their customers. Download the DraftKings app and sign up using code Fanatic. Then enter a free football survivor pool. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com for details.
There you go. And on the line with us right now, the Comcast Business Hotline Beyond Fast, Adam Schefter joins us. What's up, Shefty?
Good morning, Mark and Bob in Philadelphia and everybody out there.
I appreciate you still calling, even though you're taking care of your dog dad responsibilities. Everything okay there?
Yeah, she's 14 years old. We had some dog issues dropping her off for a sonogram this morning.
All right, dog dad.
Fingers crossed for Ella.
There
Yeah.
we go. Oh,
Okay,
Ella.
you got it.
Good luck, Ella. Shefty, I got to tell you, man, I loved the story about you and the Chiefs champagne delivery to Katie Camlin, who scooped you, and you couldn't have been a better sport about it, Shefty.
Well, it was a fun story. She had some fun with it. She got her moment in the sun, which she deserved. The Chiefs were classy about it. And for those who don't know, basically, on the day that Patrick Mahomes signed his big deal, the richest deal in sports contract history to date for a player, she apparently had tweeted out about an hour or so before me that some Chiefs employee came into her liquor store, bought 6 bottles of Dom Perignon, and that there's a big signing today, and it's not Chris Jones, so she's guessing it's Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
And so that kind of took on a life of its own, and good for her. She got a lot of mileage out of it, and it was fun to be a part of it.
It was cool, man. And I love the idea of the Chiefs sending her a autographed bottle of Dom Perignon to her as well. It's a great story. Good for all you guys at ESPN and highlighting that. It was a lot of fun, man.
Thank you.
Absolutely. And there was one signing that happened that kind of raised my eyebrows a little bit. Not that I was shocked that the guy signed anywhere, but Devonta Freeman ends up signing with the New York Giants. We were thinking about possibly here in Philadelphia, get some running back depth, being that the Eagles couldn't get a lot done in week 1 without Miles Sanders. He comes back, all seems right with the world. How much do you think Devonta Freeman has left in the tank, being that the Eagles will at least see him twice this year?
Well, he's 28 years old, right? And he went to Jacksonville. And the reason he was on the street was not because he was older, not because teams doubted him, but it was because he was stuck on his price. I even changed agents. Like, he wanted a certain number. And every player wants a certain number. Everybody wants a certain number, whatever job it is. But at some point, you also have to be realistic about what your value is. And if you're still sitting on the street late in the summer into the start of the season, then clearly there's not a team out there that thinks that you're worth what you think you're worth and is not willing to pay you what you are. He went to Jacksonville after the final cutdown, and I thought, well, this is going to get done, and the two sides were apart on terms. And then he went to Philadelphia over the weekend, and I don't know what wound up happening, but I do know that the Giants lost Saquon Barkley on Sunday, and I do know the Giants got on the phone to call him. So in addition to looking at money, you're also looking at opportunity. Would you rather go to a Giants backfield where Deion Lewis is the lead back, or would you rather go to Philadelphia where Miles Sanders is the lead back? So in a perfect world, you're going to have more opportunities to achieve some of those incentives in all probability in New York rather than Philly. And frankly, I don't know what he's got left. I think he's got something left, but we're going to find out here. And I do think he's going to be showing up there with a little bit of a chip on his shoulder. A little bit something to prove, and we'll find out whether or not he can prove it.
Would you describe it as maybe ever close between Freeman and the Eagles? Do you know if it got close?
I don't know the answer to that. I would assume that if Saquon Barkley hadn't gotten hurt, I think there's a reasonable chance to think he would have wound up in Philadelphia. I don't think that's wrong to say.
Okay. Interesting. Very interesting. You had talked a lot about injuries going into this season, Shefty. And Sunday, good Lord, a lot of injuries. Some of them soft tissue. We got ACLs. We got shoulder injuries and everything. Do you think this is tied into COVID and the way the NFL has not made a mistake by any means, but the way the NFL has had to kind of start things up with no preseason and all that?
Well, if we go back, and we said this was coming. We said this was coming. But if we go back to the 2011 season, the year of the lockout, when there was no off-season program, there was a spike in torn Achilles that year. I mean, noticeable. And I never used the information on Sunday on air that I got together over the weekend. I'm trying to see if I could find it right now on my email. But basically, there was. Here we go.
Yeah, scroll through the Wayfair orders. If you got a new cabinet or something like that, just
my wife is the Wayfair woman. I'm not. I've never ordered anything from Wayfair. But going into week one, there were 67 instances of a player either on the injury report, or this is after week one, or being placed in IR with a groin or hamstring injury through the first 2 weeks this season. That was up substantially from the first 2 weeks last year, and the most through this point in the season in the last 5 years.
Wow.
So instances of groin and hamstring injury on injury report IR weeks 1 to 2 the last 5 years. Okay? 67 this year, 43 last year, 59 the year before, 48, 53.
Yeah, that's a lot.
So again, we don't know exactly what it is, but there's no way that you can tell me that the lack of an organized offseason program, a shortened preseason, no preseason games, has nothing to do with the fact that there are more groin and hamstring injuries this year. And that was before Sunday, when we saw what I think is the worst Sunday in a long time. In fact, I think there were 7 players who tore their ACLs on Sunday. And I don't think you usually see more than 2, 3, or 4 on a Sunday.
Wow. Yeah, it was a wild Sunday. And here in Philadelphia, we've had a wild week reacting to Sunday. And it's not just because the Eagles are 0-2. It's because we're now having doubts about the quarterback, Carson Wentz. And I know that he's played close. He's played at an MVP caliber level 3 years ago. I know we saw him close out the season great this past year. Inconsistent this year so far in the first 2 games. And head coach Doug Peterson answered a question where he was asked point blank by Zach Berman of the Philly media here, where he was asked whether or not he sees a regression or he says, why has there been a regression in Carson Wentz? And Doug Peterson said, well, that's a good question. Didn't try to step around it, basically acknowledged that there has been. From a national perspective, do people see a regression in Carson Wentz?
Well, what I would say to that is, Mark, it doesn't matter what the people nationally say. Doug Peterson acknowledged the question. You don't need me to validate it, right?
Right.
I mean, if Doug Peterson is saying it. Now, what is wrong, I will say this, you have me curious now. I'm going to make a couple of calls today about that. And my immediate reaction would be that when you take an entire side of the offensive line and 3/5 of the offensive line in week 1 and you change it out, I think a lot of quarterbacks' play would be affected. Mm-hmm. And so could it be that simple? You tell me.
Yeah, you know what? Did you happen to hear Doug's question and answer? Did you happen to hear it yesterday by chance? No. Can I play it for you real quick?
Yeah.
I would love to I'm going to put you on hold real quick. I just want to get Adam Schefter's reaction to this. Here it is in its entirety.
In Carson's 5th year in the league and 5th year working with you, why are you seeing his production and his performance regress?
Progress?
Regress.
Oh, regress.
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. I did cut out there a second. It's a good question. For us, it's a matter of continuing to work, I think as coaches and players, we continue to strive to get better every single day. I just don't want Carson to feel like he has to make all the plays every single time. I just want him to just be Carson, and you guys know him. You've been around him. You've heard him. His demeanor is he wants to do everything right, and we've given him control to do that. But we just got to continue to work to get better.
Yeah, he's kind of a little all over the place there, Adam. That's how he chose to answer that question.
Yeah, that's. But you know what? You could see how he was very thoughtful about it.
Mm-hmm.
And you could see how he was taking a moment to kind of think of his answer, to measure his words. And you could, the one thing he said, Carson trying to do too much. And so that tells me that You're missing those offensive linemen. You're missing Miles Sanders week 1. Receiver's not at full strength. And so he's trying to do some things that he shouldn't be doing. That was my takeaway in that answer. You guys heard it before I did. What are your thoughts?
It confirmed a lot of what we had seen, kind of similar to how you take your takeaway from it was similar to ours. We just thought it was interesting that normally if you hear a head coach get asked about a regression of a young quarterback, especially when a lot of guaranteed money is about to kick in or kicking in this year, usually you'll hear more of an answer of, well, I wouldn't say regression. I'd say he had more struggles and whatever. But it's acknowledging the fact that there has been a regression. That's what jumped out to most of us.
Well, you know, as we're talking about that, and it's an interesting topic, I'm just thinking, like, we have spent so much of this early season focusing in on Russell Wilson, Dak Prescott, Kyler Murray, Cam Newton, Josh Allen, guys that are playing really well, guys who are in their early careers, mid-careers, who are lighting up, Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes. We don't even bring up Carson Wentz anymore. Oof. We don't even bring him up in that conversation.
Wow. Yeah, that's damning. Chef Dee, as you overlook... go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, but even Gardner Minshew, like, he's been great this year.
Chef Dee.
But let me just say...
Wow.
Let me just say... But let me just say this.
Yeah.
That is also a reflection of winning.
Sure.
And those guys are, by and large, winning. And the Eagles are 0-2. So when they're 0-2, they're off the radar, and no one's going to be talking about them. And you're raising the question as to why Doug Peterson has to explain why he's regressed. And it's a fair question, as he said. And so when you're not winning and you're not playing great, you're not going to come up. But, I mean, my point is we've talked a lot about a lot of quarterbacks on a national level for you guys on a national, and that's the first time Carson Wentz's name has come up to me.
Wow.
In 2-3 weeks.
And you're in Philadelphia, so do we even count because it's our quarterback?
No, but I mean, the point is, like, I'm doing NFL Live on ESPN every day, so I can't them. Carson Wentz's name has not come up, period. I don't remember saying it until you just asked me about it.
So, Chef Dee, as you survey the league after just 2 weeks into the season, where do the Eagles being 0-2 fall on your list of, wow, I didn't see that coming?
Well, I didn't see that coming, and I would say that it's disappointing more than anything. It's more disappointing than it's surprising, because I also said to you guys that this would be an odd year where there's a lot of strange things, and the playing field has been leveled, and the margin of difference between teams is not as great as you'd think, and there'll be surprises. So, to me, in a year like this, no surprise should be a real surprise. Right. But that's why I say the Eagles are disappointing, because they played the Washington football team. That was in Washington, right, I believe?
Yeah.
And they come home for the Rams. I mean, you know, they should be 2-0, and they're not. They should be 1-1, and they're not. And so, surprising, mildly, disappointing, majorly.
So, Chef Dee, the fact that you said to us Carson Wentz's name hasn't even come up to you guys after we thought, and probably rightfully so, after a couple of years, 3 years of him, that he was an up-and-comer and might be one of the best quarterbacks in the league.
Yeah.
Have you just thought to yourself that, maybe he's just a middle-of-the-road quarterback?
Well, I haven't thought to myself about it. You know, I'm just being honest. And so that's the point that I'm making is that
you don't talk about middle of the road quarterbacks.
Hi. I'm just busy. I was just on paperwork.
Okay. Yep. Yeah. So the point is that well, listen, like it hasn't come up, and I haven't thought about it, and now you got my head like thinking all about it, where basically it's interesting to me that we haven't talked about him at all, that we haven't thought about him all. it's just they're 0-2. You're not gonna hear much.
Sure.
Schefter, do I have time for one more with you? I know you're in the middle of something.
I didn't get, and because of you guys, I didn't get to say goodbye and kiss my dog goodbye.
Oh no! Don't say that.
Schefter,
Well, then go.
unacceptable.
She's done.
Oh, jeez.
So
All right.
that's the way. Listen. That's the life we live in sports, right? Like a lot of my dog's gonna be pissed off when she gets done with her sonogram, and we hope that it goes okay.
All right. Well, then in that case, then I will be cold hearted.
No. You'd ask whatever you want. She's done.
So,
oh no.
Another reason we're talking about this so much, they also took another quarterback at 53 overall at Jalen Hurts, and he was inactive week 1, active week 2. So you do take a quarterback that high.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I really don't. To me, it would before that would even become relevant.
Okay,
I just think that guy was there. He was a great value. Like I said to you guys, there were other teams that were wanting him, planning to take him, that didn't get him. I mean, he was just a talent that was sitting there. Didn't love the pick and raise questions about it. I thought it was a good pick.
Okay. Chef Dee, sorry to hold you up, but our best to Ella.
No.
I hope she does well. And if you do make a couple of calls about Carson, we're on until 10 a.m.
No, Mark, it's not hold me up on Ella. It's that not allowing me to do the fatherly duty of kissing her and giving her a hug, that kind of thing. But it's all.
Chef Dee, I'm not even kidding. I'm going to lose sleep over that.
Yeah, it doesn't make us feel too bad for the rest of this show. Jeez.
Well, let's just hope that everything works out with this and it goes okay. And if it doesn't, it will be on your head.
Thanks for that.
If knock on wood, it doesn't. You should and will have a guilty conscience.
How long does the sonogram take? Because we're going to text you in that amount of time just to check on things.
I have to go pick her up later today. I don't know. It'll be 3-4 hours because they have to have a technician come in.
Oh my God.
So,
okay.
Yeah. So
we'll follow up. We'll follow up with you, bud.
You know what? By the way, unless you're a dog, do you guys have dogs or not?
Yes.
I do not.
He's a cat guy.
No, my wife's a cat guy. I'm a no guy.
Well, yeah. Well, if you have a dog, you understand how much love and affection and how much they mean to you. If you don't have a dog, I don't know you fully grasp it.
Chef Dee, I love you, man.
Chef Dee is an evil man.
Chef Dee, we will check back with you later just to make sure everything's okay in your dog dad land. Thanks, Chef Dee.
Yeah, I know we're going to be curious on a lot of injury reports this week, but there's no injury report more important than Ellis.
And I am sorry, legit. Like when we get off the phone, I'm going to pray to St. Francis, patron saint of animals, man. That's what I got for you. That's all I got, and we'll check back later.
Right.
Thanks, buddy.
Thanks, Chef Dee.
You too. Yeah, have a great day.
Wow.
Yeah, let me say goodbye to my dog.
God forbid.
Forgetto with Bob Cooney and Jamie Lynch. Mornings on 97.5 The Fanatic. Philadelphia.